Welcome to the High Fae Housewives podcast. I'm Blakely.
And I'm Kylie.
We are currently working towards our Maasters in the Maasverse. Our current course is focused on Crescent City, House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah Janet Maas. And it is our final episode, and we're discussing chapters 81 through 102. We chose to do this episode a little bit differently since there is so much action in the last few chapters of the book. We chose to condense some of those episodes, but we do discuss some important info in each chapter.
Warning, while we may be your silly gal pals, we do not recommend listening to this podcast around little ears or ears that may be offended because we say bad words and shitty things. Now relax those shoulders, unclench those jaws, clench that clam, and let's get into it.
We're chatting chapters 81 through 84. Let's go. Ithan and Hypaxia had a showdown with the Underking. The meeting place was in Urd's Greystone Temple, which had a statue of her holding a cauldron of sorts. Peculiar. Ithan asked him if he could speak to his brother, but first it turned into a gossip sesh of him going into his lore, and then Ithan asked if he could let him speak to his brother. He says only 7 minutes. During those 7 minutes, Ithan chose to trauma dump, but Connor gifted him with a special bullet. The UK was being a bit of a dick when time was up, and that caused Ithan to crash the fuck out. His ice magic was on full display and turned the Underking into a solid block, and then Pax took the final blow. The Underking was no longer. Well, it looks like Crescent City has a new HBIC in Flame and Shadow. They go with the rule, if you break it, you buy it. So Hypaxia is the new head of house, with Jespa as the assistant to the regional manager. First order of business, they have to decide what to do with souls. Connor asked them not to send them to the ether and waste this opportunity. They made a bullet full of second light for Bryce to shoot an Asteri with the God Slayer. Connor told Ithan he was proud of him, which is probably the first time he's heard that in a long time because, well, Ithan is Ithan. And then he went into the arch and was gone after Ithan took the second light from the gate and put it in the bullet. Ithan was Pangera bound with a mission. There was a rumble about to start between Theres, Sathia, and the Vipe Queen, who apparently took Colin, Sathia's maybe potential former love, as one of her Fae guards. But Pax showed up right in time to save the day and told the Vipe Queen to buzz the fuck off, which, as an unbothered queen would, with her sig in hand, she accepts the shift in power and sachets off. The crew trade stories about happenings, and then they make their plans to get Bryce her special dead people bullet.
Ithan, once again with fucking Hannah Montana, he was like, we all make bad decisions. God, that sounded dumb. He's just got to stop channeling her shit. Like, I love her too, but chill.
He loves a bad decision.
It's crazy because, like, he's gonna be so fucking powerful. Like, we knew he was gonna be the prime in these books. Sarah Janet foreshadowed to us. A Hannah Montana loving wolf, it's canon, is
True.
now the prime. Because in Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood, it literally said it would be soon now. Everyone said only a matter of a year or two until the current prime of wolves, nearly 400 years old, had his sailing across the Eastros to the Bone Quarter for his final sleep. With where the story started and Ithan becoming prime, it's been 2 to 3 years. And I think he's going to be really fucking powerful, like I said, and this is why. Holstrom stepped up to her side, brimming with power, with magic, cold and foreign. The male before him was a prime. There was no doubt about it. But this strange power rippling from him. You know who else had rippling power? Someone else who was very strong. It was Rhys. Because in chapter 76 of ACOTAR, there's a moment where Farah describes Rhys's powers rippling through her. And, that's what she said. He's a pretty powerful guy.
And the fact that his ice is interesting. There's a pretty powerful guy in Tog that is well acquainted with ice and can shift, and that's a Dorian, and he had raw power. So does Ithan have raw power? That just shows up with ice?
Great question, because we know that he is not a Midgard Fae.
Mm-hmm. And it makes you wonder, like, we know that the Fae that came from the Tog world or that planet, they are not the same anymore. And so they've changed a lot of things. What if he's able to shift into different things and he doesn't know it?
Oh, so what if he's like Lyssandra's bloodline?
Yeah. Or like,
Her and Aiden made a fucking ton of babies, and they all do different things.
I mean, they probably fought a lot, so they needed to make up and had sex, and I would fight with him a lot, so it makes sense to me.
She was just popping out babies left and right. Once again, those shifter babies mate with other types of fae, and then you get these crazy ass descendants. You're onto something.
I don't know. I just think it feels a little raw power like to me, which feels like Dorian and potentially Reese, and he can shift into different things. I think it's possible. But in Tog, there's we've talked about it many times about all the different wolves and how Sarah uses wolves. I remember that Maeve had wild wolves and that when they shifted, they turned into beautiful men. And then there was the wolf tribe that hung out with the Fae of Terrasen. Then there was, of course, Fenris and his twin brother, the Shifters. We know a lot of the female characters refer to themselves as wolves. And then there's that one little weird detail of Ansel of Briarcliff's family crest is a wolf. So there's so much wolves in the Tog world. It really makes you think that we don't know where these wolves came from or like what sector of wolves they are.
Why are they so influential? Like,
Yeah.
why do they get their own den and priority? Like, why do they get a seat at the table?
And it's interesting that Maeve had wild wolves that were able to turn, and then we're in this world, and the wolves were the Asteris' right-hand guys. They were the enforcers. Like, that's who, when Thea was fighting, they took all of those guys down. So it's just an interesting parallel.
Interesting that wolves would be at the bottom of Chthonia's statue, Luna's statue.
Luna. Mm-hmm.
And what if Luna's Maeve? I don't think that, but what if?
I
We're
mean,
honoring Maeve in the Throne of Glass world before, like, she was ousted. Somebody snuck in to the future.
who's to say? That would definitely ruin my whole Luna and Deanna are the same, but let's throw it out there. All that evidence that they're the same. But it's weird. I don't know. And then it makes you think again with fucking are the Tog gods and the Steri same world? Like something's weird there. I have a lot of thoughts. We'll talk about more. And I unfortunately bringing it up like 3 times this episode because I couldn't help myself, but I don't even have a complete thought about it. I just am like, ugh. See an
My
actor.
thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of big dogs, I want to mention that the Viper Queen, she was clad in one of her jumpsuits, ocean blue, high top sneakers, amethyst suede with maroon laces, and she's so fucking cool. And we just literally couldn't go these 4 chapters without mentioning it. Like, we need to talk about her at any given moment because she's just so fucking cool.
Smoking cigs, ripping cigs, really. It's not even smoking. It's
No.
ripping cigs in a matching jumpsuit. Does it get cool?
We had to talk about it. That's it. There's no more notes on that.
Just, yeah, your inspo for life. The Viper Queen.
What WWVQD.
Yeah. Everyone always tries to do what would Aelin do, but it should probably be what would the Viper Queen do.
Yeah, that one rolls right off the tongue, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to talk about Hypaxia's government name, though.
Oh my god, yes, I'm excited for this. Go ahead.
It is Enidor, and I'm positive that it's derived from the Bible. In the book of Samuel, Saul, the king of Israel, had banned all necromancers and magicians from Israel, but needed someone with magic swords and was told there was one living in the village of Endor, aka the Witch of Endor, and Saul went there to have her perform necromancy. And it just sounds like our girl, Hypaxia Enidor.
Look at you trying to steal my job looking up Bible shit. Who do you think you are?
I'm sorry, I pulled the rug right out from under you. Are you okay?
You really did. Like, I guess I'll just stick with being theory tits. No more Bible. No more Jesus jugs. We're just doing theory tits.
Those things are looking full.
I like that. I mean, we know that Sarah gets so much of her inspiration from the Bible, like it's proven all the time. And this is a nice little nugget.
That's my favorite one. I don't know how we waited 3 books to talk about it, but here we are.
Well, the village of Endor, and then now, of course, I'm like, Star Wars? Are there witches in Endor? Is that where Hypaxia is from? Does she love Endor?
I mean, there are witches in the Star Wars universe, so
Maybe they were hidden in Endor. We didn't know.
there's still time for them to pop up.
One can hope. So Hypaxia said something. The archangels aren't to be trusted. They have those secret camps that indoctrinate them that they're puppets for the Steri. And now the only reason this stands out to me is because we know the Steri created the Illyrians, but that's when they were going by the Dagla name. And then they improved their prototype with archangels, and it makes me wonder what the training looked like for the Illyrians. We know Illyrians are kind of ass backwards in their thinking, and Reese has had issues with them when their non-loyalty that they've had to snuff out. It obviously is something that we'll cover in ACOTAR coverage, but I just wanted to highlight it.
It's interesting that you just said that, like what happens in those camps, because I mentioned something later in this episode about what Reese hears. So it's just interesting what is planted in these camps and like throughout these fae. Interesting. Can't wait to talk about that more.
Speaking of Reese and gods and otherworldly beings, let's talk about Urd's temple a little bit. The Underking lounged on a throne beneath a behemoth statue of a figure holding a black metal bowl between her upraised hands. Black metal bowl, like a cauldron, and symbols were all over the bowl. Word marks. I believe this is in fact the cauldron, and the mother Urd word, because we know the cauldron had runes and word marks on it, and just with my theory that I've been going on and on about Urd and everything, I just Urd word, the mother, it all kind of just makes sense. Now, as we're closing out our time with the Underking, I just want to kind of reinforce some points that we had and then address some of the things that he said about his own lore.
Moment of silence for the UK. Just kidding. He doesn't deserve it.
Pour one out for the homies.
Don't waste Coke on that. How dare you?
I was going to say pouring it into my mouth.
Oh, that's... I panicked because I poured one out for Lahaba. Was it Lahaba? I poured one out for someone.
Yeah, the Lahaba's fine. I'm not going to do it for the fucking Underking. Like, he doesn't have any teeth hygiene, and I don't appreciate it. It needs to be figured out.
He just was never fucking cool.
No. Like, we like a cool villain.
Yeah.
He wasn't cool. He was dirty.
Not hot. Yeah.
No. So let's just wrap up this little Underking bow while we have it. We have had to dance around it for multiple books. He confirms that he is a void spawn earlier in the series, and he says he came from the old world, which we can all assume with the references to the shifters, that it was the Tog world. I mean, calling it the old world in general, Terrasen and Welsh means old earth. Now, if you were with us for Sky and Breath coverage, when Kai took us to Underking School, I brought up his similarities to Barrow-wights. So this was his description in Sky and Breath. We have the Underking is described as his desiccated corpse, half rotted and crowned with gold and jewels. Observe them. Hideous beyond belief, yet regal. Like a long dead king, old left to rot in some barrow, who had emerged to make himself master of this land, which immediately made me start scanning my brain. Throne of Glass, we have barrows, which, not hills, barrows, the ancient tombs of lords and princes long dead, rolling to the edge of the trees. There was dozens, each marked with a throne threshold as sealed in an iron door. The grassy mound seemed to breathe, to sleep. Iron doors keep the whites inside, locked with the treasure they'd stolen. They'd infiltrated the barrows and lurked there for eons, feeding on whatever unwitting fools dared to seek the gold within. While Alien is walking through, she says the heels apart to reveal an inner circle of dead grass around the most crumbling barrow wall, where the others were rounded. This one looked as if some ancient god had stepped on it. The iron door was gone. Then later in the series, Elite asks what a barrow-wight is, and Lorcan says, creatures of malice and thought. They covet gold and treasure, infested the ancient tombs of kings and queens so they might dwell amongst it. They hate the light of any kind. So we have a confirmation from the Underking. This place is much suited to my needs than the caves and barrows and I was confined to. So the Underking was a Barrow-wight who emerged from this land, and it makes you wonder if that's that god, the one that had that exact Barrow-wight. It kind of leads to that. And it is quite the upgrade to make himself the master of the lands and going from stealing treasure to souls. He tells us he was born of the void, which makes me wonder, what exactly does the void create and why? Like, it's a lot of different things. Like, what's the fucking purpose of a Barrow-wight? Like, why does it create only some things?
There has been a mention of magic and balance in these books. I think it was in Throne of Glass. And so it's just wondering, like, if the void is creating that, like, is it the balance to something? If it's balancing something, what would that
Yeah.
balance out?
And is it just a dark and light fight always?
I really am starting to think so.
Like good versus evil, dark versus light. And if we just look through all the three different series, it makes you wonder. And then is like, okay, is the void bad, or is the void just like just the creator of all things and it's a fight amongst them? I don't know. It's a little deep for a podcast, but
For our fucking opening chapter, like, damn, girl. Let's
which
contemplate
let's keep
life.
going. Let's keep going. We'll move to Erd. Once again, we get our confirmation our girl lived a double/triple life. The Underking says she was not a goddess, but a force that governed worlds, a cauldron of life brimming with the language of creation. Erd, they called her here, a bastardized version of her true name, Word. We called her that in the old world, which leads me to believe, like I've been saying, is Erd word is also chaos in the mother. Side note, the cauldron's markings on it and the statue we discussed above, and I said obvious the cauldron and its word marks, which if her actual name is Word and word marks are considered the language of creation, it continues to prove my point for chaos and the mother. Boom. Thank you, Underking.
But we're going to get into I will challenge this because I don't know how this works.
Chapters 85 through 88. Bryce and the crew decide to make a TV show that exposes Asteria and their evils by showing who really 86 Micah and Sandy. We were all staying in on an Ophian safe house where Bryce and Hunt decide to get busy, which they don't do it like us normies. When they bone, Hunt can feel Bryce inside of him, and not in a Micah pegging way, but with their maid powers. What?
I just was not ready to talk about like the feeling inside of Bryce.
Well, I thought it was worth mentioning.
You're not wrong. It was very
Thank you.
important.
Theory had no chill with his water powers and douched all of Flame and Shadow. Ethan takes it as his cue to leave, and Perry was waiting for him at the den to tell him everyone left and he needs to take care of business. He fells her? I'm Mormon now. He fills her in that everything she knows is a damn lie. After Therian simmered down and quit creating Waterworld, he asks Paxi if he's joining them, but she wants to stay and work on her antidote. Therian gets to have a "where is my wife" light moment, and unfortunately, she went after her first lover, the poor dear. Oh, and Rune and Eldog do some naughty things. Ethan buried the old Prime in the meadow and then chatted with Perry, who told him about the leaked vids of all this Stari's evilness, which Ethan then knew he had to rush to the Eternal City to get Bryce and crew with his bullet. So apparently it was a clusterfuck post-vids dropping, which is exactly what they wanted, but they were all still nervous Nellies. Lids was a stress ball, and Bryce told her she needs to not let it distract her. They had a plan, or like 7. They needed to keep the Stary distracted so Hunt and Bryce could destroy the First Light Core. Bryce left them with some parting words. Through love, all is possible. Brent and Loon decided to split up. Rune tells Lids he loves her, which is cute, and then they embarked on their mission to save her spawns. Hunt and Bryce were heading to the throne room, and once they arrived, it was empty, minus the wings. He slipped on the suit of the Umbra Mortis with its special vision, and Bryce slipped on the mask. He destroyed his and Isaiah's wings since they're still alive, and Rigelus made an appearance, while Bryce was commanding them to fly to the hill with Hel. Rigelus was expecting them all along.
Do you think the Asterian Guard were on Asterian horses?
I just can't picture little skinny Rige on a horse.
I I picture him so frail.
Yeah.
I picture him I kind of picture him like Volturi, like a little,
Mm-hmm.
what?
I almost said, like, I picture him like the type of men that Taylor Swift used to date. You know, like British, frail.
So we were literally saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm. But like just the fact that I'm like, yeah, Taylor Swift's exes are what this stereo look like.
They are Volturi. Like they are all one and the same. Same vibe, but like a Victorian little boy
Mhm.
on an Asterian horse.
Yeah. So can you imagine how little they look with their little leggies?
They're just swinging back and forth on his horse.
Like, I just, even though they're stereo, I don't picture them to be like on a horse. They're not graceful. You know, they're not like floating around. Like, they're like, yeah,
Even
it's not.
though the Volturi were like super graceful and flawless,
Yeah.
but like not the Asteri on a horse. It's the one thing that they can't conquer.
Yeah. And they know it too. So that's why they're like, come steal these fucking horses in every realm that you're in. But like, yeah.
It makes sense.
Mhm.
Guess what, Blake?
What?
I have something nice to say about Ethan.
Shut up.
He gets credit because he buried the prime in the heart of the meadow so his soul might feel the romping joy of pups for generations to come. That's what she said. And I just thought that
Right.
was cute and considerate.
It was. It was cute and considerate. So once again, Ethan's not a bad guy. He's just annoying and makes terrible fucking decisions a lot of the time.
Most
He's
of the time.
Yeah, he's not a bad guy. I just still don't like the way he treated Bryce. So I have a hard time with that one.
Like 1 in 10 decisions are cool. The other 9 are bad.
Yeah.
He's that one dentist.
Mhm.
For their gum.
I mean, we said something nice about him when he went to try to save the humans. Like, we've done this. He's done a couple nice things.
One nice segment per book.
That's all we'll allow. And the fact that this man's about to be fucking, or is prime.
I have a lot of thoughts on that. That's scary.
No.
I also, the boys get some sympathy in these chapters because poor Therian, his wife left him for another man. And he was like working towards growth.
I know.
And she's like, no, thank you.
She's like,
Colin.
I
Colin.
understand. I don't like the name Colin. It feels like a little bitch name.
It felt easy to mock right there.
Yeah.
So sorry to any Collins out there. It's not you. It's Colin in this book.
Yeah, like if your son's name Colin, he's probably cool.
Yeah.
But he's like the exception to the rule. You know, guys, that's just to our listeners with the Collins.
That, I wonder if he is great in the next book, if Colin goes to rehab. There's no closure in this book. Colin. There is no Colin closure.
Now, and this happens to you every book. You know, Vic, you didn't get your closure. Now you're worried about Colin.
Is he okay? People are like, who the fuck is Colin?
Like, nobody cares about Colin. Stop talking about
I care
Colin.
about Colin. Now I've committed. I have to care about Colin. Cares for Colin.
Cares for Colin? So here's something I actually care about because I don't care about Colin. I have made my case for Bryce being the one that the bone carver is referring to, that his salvation's genes are in a human line somewhere, specifically Ember's human line. Now, Kylie felt like in the bonus chapter that Ember mentioned that she was human and she took that as a no way, Jose. But when she said Bryce's name in this chapter, Bryce Adelaide Quinlan, I stopped a bit. I was like, we know Quinlan has the relationship to number 5, aka 5th level hell, aka Adis. Then we have the middle name Adelaide. That was one of the first meanings we looked up when we started our deep dive. Adelaide means nobleness or nobility. Now, at the time, I was like, oh, duh, the signs were all there. She's a hidden princess because of the Autumn King. But Ember didn't want anything to do with the Autumn King or titles. So she wouldn't have named her that after him, like a nod to it. So I'm like, nobility in the bloodline, Ember? I keep researching. Want to know a common nickname for Adelaide? Ada, aka Adis, case closed, stretching, I don't care.
I love this for you.
Thanks. I hope your cares for Colin.
I quit.
That was the last straw.
You can make fun of me all you want, but I draw the fucking line at Colin.
You have never fucking brought up Colin one time.
So why did you guys disband your podcast? Colin.
It all goes back to Colin.
Cares for Colin, though.
Cares for Colin. Somebody's got to.
You may think that Ember has some, otherworldly being in her, but I want to talk about the Asteri. It mentioned Bryce ran her thumbs over the mask's smooth brow. It looked like a death mask for some long-dead king. Had it been crafted around the mold of some Asteri's face, fashioned after the hateful face of the Daglin in the other world? I feel like this is such a specific thought, so it has to be. It has to be.
A long dead king. Then in ACOTAR, it is described as a long forgotten king. Now, something we'll definitely be discussing in our ACOTAR coverage is the fact that there is so much forgotten, and a lot of it is giving nameless as my price. But where did they find the mass? The bog of Urid. Urid used to be a sacred place. But then I was thinking, there was a king that was forced to be drowned there. When Selene is talking in the beginning of the book describing her father's murder, she's shown a marsh, a bog. Now, Fionn was the last high king of Prythian, the only king. So who else would the Maas be referring to other than Fionn? And the question I have is, what or who was he really? Remember, Helena and Selene have darkness and are able to command shadows. So is Fionn something other than that, we are told, or is that actually their father?
He might be the oily shadows out there.
Possible. But just the Asteri face situation, I don't know. Something's not right about him. There's only one king in the history of Prythian.
Yeah, how is he so lucky to get that title? What did he do? What did he sell inside? What did he sell for that?
So when they're talking about Thea and their love story, it was supposed to be a secret at first because they didn't want people to be they didn't want it to cause issues. And then I was like, why would it cause issues between the two of them? What if he was a Asteri? Fionn is actually a Asteri. And then Thea, who obviously is Starborn, that I believe best be made. Then it's the double.
He could be another Asteri maid.
Situation. Yeah, he could definitely be a Asteri maid. That's possible. Maybe it would be an issue because they had training for them or something. But the fact that they made that comment, or Selene did, of they didn't want to rock the boat with their romance and had to keep it a secret. Why? If you're both made, why would that matter?
Yeah.
Wouldn't they want to mate? Them to mate the way that they want everyone to mate for big powers? You'd think that. Do you know what I mean? It's a weird little detail. Once again, a lot of this stuff we will dive deeper in ACOTAR, but.
Chapters 89 through 92. The Harpy was CCTV for Raiji Boy, so he knew the haps for the Northern Rift and let Bryce and Hunt know that he was sending an army of skanks there while it's unguarded. He didn't know he was about to have his world turned upside down. I was going to say his socks rocked off, but I just didn't, and I'm telling you anyways. As soon as the Asterian guard arrived, that's when the Fallen took over the mech suit bodies and fucked some bitches up. It was now Asteri versus Hellboys and gang. Hunt was serving cunt in his Umbra Mortis helmet with his Fallen, his dad's ish, and Adis. Our faves knew better. than to leave Hela unattended. They actually left some behind under one of Apollyon's captains. Bryce decided to fuck the plan up and drew the Star Sword and Truth Teller, then teleported in front of Polaris and stabbed that skank. The world got real slow. Hunt had to use his Hellfire to assist Bryce, and then Polaris imploded, but Bryce got the blades separated just in time. She sent Polaris into the portal to nowhere, aka a black hole. Cool. That bitch is gone. But yikes on bikes having to do that 5 more times. In the castle, Liz was using the mystics to find her sons after she shot the front desk gal, and then Rune shot her in the leggy to be her shining knight in starry armor and took off. He let Bryce know he needed her help. Adis was like, baby girl, go help your brother from another mother. They were going to have to take a pack of Deathstalkers out when they got taken out by some water, and Hunt and Bryce were about to be very wet. But Darian found them but lost the Pax potion at that time, so Hunt and Bryce carry on to the first light core. But fine Raiji boy. Hunt lights up the crystal floor with his Hellfire, and then it began to tunnel towards the first light core. Rune found Pollux, but Polly didn't give a care. He was out for Lydia's blood. Wherever the fuck Lydia was in the hallways, it was going to be her versus Pollux to save her sons. So dramatic.
Save her sons.
Polly called Lydia trash, which ensures that I will never use that insult again. Tharian found Lids and shoved his water in her hole and then gave her one of the potions. She blacked out, then healed, and got hella powerful. She didn't come out until Polly brought her sons out. Polly is a prick and tells Lydia he's going to kill them in front of her, and that's when girlfriend's fire inside her lit. In the streets, no one was answering Ethan's calls, and he was whiny about it. Not like they're in the middle of a fucking war, Ethan, but still, he ran with that special bullet from his brother and the Godslayer to at least deliver that to Bryce since he broke the vials of the antidote. He's still fucked up, and I was going to point it out.
You had to. He deserves it.
Because, like, once again, what did he expect when he got to Avellan? Like, they were just going to, like, put everything on pause and be like, hold on, Reggie boy. It's Ethan.
Unfortunately, Ethan is a bit entitled.
Yeah, you know, like, his parents had money. And so he comes from a life of privilege. He's kind of a fucking brat.
And he probably belonged to a frat when he went to college, for sure, as a sunball guy. Given frat boy with money.
He's just so annoying. Like, come on. They're fighting a war. Like, Bryce is busy. I do want to point out, Bryce, when she took the mask off, it said she was gasping for breath, a bit dizzy as she yanked the mask from her face. And I find it fascinating that Bryce can just yank the mask off, but Nesta had to be talked gently off the ledge. Like she's the Hulk, like, hey, big guy, sun's getting real low.
I think it's because Nesta stole her powers and Bryce's are, it's in her.
Because she's got that OG dog in her, and Nesta's like stolen
Actually,
dog.
In her blood, so it's different.
And like the mother's cool with her keeping some of it, obviously, at the end of Silver Flame, which we'll get into. That's not a spoiler because we've spoiled the whole books.
Every single book we've spoiled.
At this point, I'm like, oh my God, did I just ruin this for everybody?
In our last episode of Crescent City, after 9 months, she's now worried about a spoiler. Like, this one was a step too far.
This is where we draw the line. My bad, guys. I will not talk about Nesta and
but I think
the mother.
Why? I think that's the difference. If one is inherently in her and it's in her bloodline, and one was stolen.
But since the mother's okay with it, she gets to still use it.
Yeah. It's borrowed power.
So, like, Bryce, Nesta, Bresta are like, they really are connected. They're like sisters in a way.
Yeah. Sisters from different misters.
Just like Lydia and Hypaxia. They're sisters from other misters. But speaking of those sisters from another mister, okay, we need to talk about Rune shooting Lydia. How did you feel about that? Okay, Rune is not your favorite. Like, he's on your bucket list just to, like, get that check mark, but he's not, like, your top dog. So this might not be as emotional or annoying.
Mm-hmm. I told you, I see Rune brotherly. Like, I care about him as a character. I have a parasocial relationship with Rune, and I care about him, and I think he's a good guy. What were your thoughts? As someone, you're a Rune lover, so that's the more interesting take.
I think it was a bit too far.
Yeah.
I think
It's a
we
little-
could have found another solution. I understand why he did it. Didiot. He's a idiot. He did
He is a
something,
idiot.
so he's an idiot. He's a idiot.
It was a idiot move, you know?
It was not the best move, but I get it. Like, she was reckless. But I get it as a mother. You're like, where's my fucking sons? Like, she would have burned the whole place down.
Yeah, so here's the thing for me is I love Reese, right? So I can see his reasoning for things. Like you and I do that with any MMC that we love and things. I don't understand why Reese does things that are like and people like freak out about, but you never hear anyone bitching that ruined fucking shot Lydia.
Like, I would be pretty upset if Ryan shot me. I just want to throw that out there. If my husband shot me, I would be upset. Like, let's start there. They're not married. They're mates, but they're not married. So,
Yeah.
I feel like that's pretty upsetting.
You can't just shoot someone.
Not willy-nilly.
No, you can't be willy-nilly about it for sure. It was a idiot move. And I didn't love it. I can understand it. I didn't love it.
Controversial.
But no one talks about it, which now makes me mad.
Pollock said something weird to Lydia. He was like, I can sense your soul nearby. It is entwined with mine, you know. I find that line really interesting because she is mates with Rune. So why is your soul entwined with Pollock's?
I don't know. It's
It's a weird
weird.
line.
It is a weird line. So then it makes you wonder, can people have multiple mates?
Or what if she's his Karanom, but not his mate?
Yeah.
That would be
Well,
an easy way to solve that and be done with that. But I wonder, I'm sure it's just a throwaway, not to read too into, but it is interesting. Why would your soul be entwined other than being mates?
it's a little weird. And just because some things that are going on over in the ACOTAR world, was that a little Easter eggy? Like maybe there can be two.
Yeah, is this foreshadowing for Miss Elaine?
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was breadcrumbing there. So I kind of weird. Kind of fucking weird.
Weird choices. Sarah, Janet.
And I don't know, Sarah's comments about mates in the Alex Cooper interview.
Well, I think that Bryce and Hunt show us that mates can be a totally different trajectory. Once again, they weren't meant to be mates as far as Adis knew. And he's in on all of this, he knows Bryce pretty well. Bloodline and shit.
Which is, never mind. This could open up a fucking can of worms because you think about yeah, Adis should know, like you're saying, right? Because our girl Maeve knew one day Rowan would have Aelin all these hundreds of years later. So why wasn't this foreseen?
Something's not adding up.
It's not.
Speaking of Hunt, I'm really curious what Hunt's helmet is made out of. Because it allowed all the princes, we could see their true forms. And I actually want to compare their true forms of hell, the princes, those guys, to Reese.
Love to.
I want to share why I think he is a descendant, but not a brother. So when time was slowing down, Hunt had his helmet on, and we get this. With the helmet, Hunt could truly see everything. The demon princes were turning towards them, the Asteri opponents with them. Gone were the princes' humanoid skins. Creatures of darkness and decay stood there, mouths full of sharp teeth, leathery wings splayed. A great black mass lay within Napoleon's yawning mouth. And we get the prince's true form. And I know we go back and forth on if Reese is a demon test tube baby or potentially a prince of hell, but I think it's the former because his true form doesn't match the prince's.
And when you talk of Apollion's true form, it reminded me of my wild-ass theory that Apollyon is Orcus, because Orcus in mythology is a god of an underworld. Now, if you want a fun fact to put in your back pocket, J.R. Tolkien got the name Orc from Orcus, Orc meaning demon, and Orc Latin refers to hell. Now, in fantasy reinterpretations of this character, Orcus has black, leathery wings, just like our friend Apollyon. And we've gone back and forth. Well, it's pretty much Valgi. That's how we've landed. But you saying creatures of darkness and decay triggered something. When they get to the book in Akamap, when the queen in chapter 57 says, from the queens in chapter 57, the book says, hello, sweet thing. Hello, lady of night, princess of decay. Hello, fanged beast and trembling fawn. And it's always kind of puzzled me who the fucking book was talking about, because Moore's there, Feyre, Rhys, Nesta, Landcast. Who is who, and who's the princess of decay? What does that mean?
Yeah, because Lady of Night will obviously be Feyre. Trembling Fawn, Elaine, that loser.
Yes, so definitely. But then, Hello Fanged Beast, is that Rhys? Because that's his form. And then that would leave Princess of Decay for more, right? Or, I mean, Nesta's there.
But I don't think Nesta was ever a princess. Nesta was
no.
She fucking stole that power to be a queen.
It could just be Nesta, he didn't know what to do with her yet. Didn't say anything because she was silent. But I feel like he would say something to more. The book would.
Right.
So Princess of Decay, and just the thought with hell, there's a lot of questions surrounding more, and we will definitely circle back there. But it was a weird little tidbit.
That blonde gal.
Fucking blondes, man. So we've sidebarred about a few things, and you've told us the Princess of Hell's true form. And how is Rhys's true form described?
In chapter 74 of ACOTAR, Feyre described Rhys like this. The talons came first, replacing fingers and feet. Then dark scales, or perhaps feathers, I couldn't get a look at them, covered his legs, arms, and his chest, his body contorted, bones and muscles growing and shifting. The beast form Rhys had kept hidden. Before the cauldron swept me away, I beheld what happened to his head, his face. It was a thing of nightmares, nothing human or fae in it. It was a creature that lived in black pits and only emerged at night to hunt and feast. The face, it was those creatures that had been carved into the rock of the court of nightmares that made up his throne. The throne, not only a representation of his power, but what lurked within. And with the wings, ... So the description of the gates to the hewn city in chapter 42 of a court of fear and fury. I love a court of and fury.
Fury ACOTAR or...
In chapter 42 of A Court of Mist and Fury, it was described great scaled black beasts were carved into those gates, all coiled together in a nest of claws and fangs, sleeping and fighting, some locked in the endless cycle of devouring each other. Between them flowed vines of jasmine and moonflowers. So definitely a demon test tube baby, because he doesn't match the Prince of Hell in raw form. But we'll get more into it in ACOTAR about its description matching those gates.
And it's also kind of weird because when hunts, he says he can see them all, right? Princes of humanoid skins, creatures of darkness decay, stood there, mouths full of sharp teeth, leathery wings splayed. But he really kind of goes into Apollion's, and it's like, are the other ones a little bit different? We don't know. Like, because we don't have, he definitely lasers in on Apollyon. So maybe it's because daddy issues, you know what I mean? But while I definitely have presented my case with Rhys being a Hellion, like it? Okay. With him being cold, the Prince of Hell visiting him during his nightmare, which, by the way, I said in the beginning of the year, we can make some assumptions about him. But I do just want to throw another crazy-ass theory out in the ring. I just have to preface how fucking half-baked this is, and more of a how fun would it be. There isn't, in fact, a Prince of Hell that doesn't get talked about. The 6th level hell, the Abyss. Who the hell is that? Where is he? Now, we know the lower princes are sketchy and mess with demons, which includes Thanatos, which makes sense. But the upper 3 do not. So where is he? We're told the other 4 brothers are dealing with Ish in other worlds. Who's to say it's not Prythian? Who's to say the 6th level isn't Rhys? We will get way more into what the fuck Rhys is in ACOTAR, but I just couldn't help myself. And I just want to stress again how little I believe this. But it would be cool.
And
Like if you
we're open to everything because nothing is confirmed. And that's the fun fucking part of books.
now the thing that makes me believe probably not is actually just well, there's many reasons, but the one comment from Sarah J. Maas saying Reese is one of one. And I think that's because he's part hell and he's part Asteri.
We will definitely get more into it because I agree. And we talk about it literally on the phone constantly. Chapters 93 through 96. Bran and Actaeon were in Gorzian shackles. Tharion attacked Pollux, and then Polly shot him and took the haughty mare down. It was a standoff, Polly versus Lids. That's when Baby Rune offers himself up. Polly went for Bran, but Lydia was having none of it. She burst into white-hot flames. Fire magic was pouring out of her. Then calls Bran by his government name, Brannon. Ace was like, yikes, Mom, what are you? She's like, old bloodlines, my son. She barked at Rune to get Fish Boy to a healer, then drops the bomb that Danica told her shifters were different once upon a time, and she was parasite-free. Polly is dead, and Lids forgives Rune. I'm going to bitch about Danica later. Don't worry, guys. Lids took her hot ass out to the battlefield and lit it up. The Dreadwolves went for her, but she said, poof, no more. She went to sacrifice herself because she knew her sons and Rooney were safe. The sprites arrived just in time to light it up with Lids and save her ass. Extra shout out to Bryce and Hunt for becoming YouTube stars with their video against the Asteri. It helped Orithis join their cause. Lids had a kernel of hope. Back in the castle, Rune took the vial because why not? Take a crazy chance. Rune was gifted laser star eyes and took some guys out. He also gained healing magic and healed our precious bad decision-making mare. Time slowed while this was happening, so they knew another Asteri went down. Rune gets him and the boys out and happens to pass Ithan, heading in to find Bryce. Bryce was running out of juice in that caboose and couldn't teleport anymore. Ithan arrived just in time when her and Hunt were going to give it everything they got. Bryce teleports away from them, so she only has to sacrifice herself. Rigelus, with the 3 remaining Asteri, stop her, though, and is like, that's the kill switch for Midgard, wench. Rigelus monologues, grabs her wrists, and then her power meets his, and she realizes since she used First Light for her drop, his First Light is her First Light, and he is done for. She paired that with her horn, opened a portal to nowhere in deep space for the exploding core and all the Asteri to go. But unfortunately, Bryce got sucked in too. I want to talk about Lydia. And I want to talk about her witch bloodline versus her Galathinius line.
Mm-hmm.
So her witch bloodline obviously comes from her mom, and so the Galathinius line comes from her dad. I do think her golden eyes are to remind us of her tie to the witch bloodline, but I still think Liz has some watered-down Valg in her because witches are descendants of Valg. But what if she was actually a descendant of Manon and Dorian? Like, why not take that big swing? Like, I don't believe it, but throwing it out there.
Yes, we definitely said this as a riffing thing once, completely joking. And I don't know. I think it's fun. Like, I like it. Let's double swing this. I'm into it.
Like, it would be so crazy, but everybody always wants more of Manon, and like, what a way to give it to us in a different way.
Well, yeah, because so many people forget that Dorian has that line in him too.
Yeah, like, why can't it be on Dorian's side? Like, we love Aelin, and obviously, like, I do think we'll get her in some capacity in some way. Yeah. But, like, why not Dorian?
Why not? He's hot.
I think it's interesting that her and Bryce had these insane powers and knew to hide them from the Asteri. Like, why did they know to hide their shit from them?
Because they're smarties and they're masterminds, and they just know. Women, no.
It makes me question Lydia and her whole character because, like, if she knew, like, she's got that, like, big dog in her, but she was still the Asteri's pet, so she's always had a little good in her.
Yeah, I think so. Like, you can look at it nurture versus nature. I think there's obviously a lot was drilled into her. That's what she said when she was younger. But I think that she does have good in her, especially think of what line she comes from.
I think it was inevitable. I don't think giving birth to her son was really like, I mean, I think it changed her trajectory. Like she started to help with like Ophion, but I think like her mind was always a good gal. She's a good time gal.
I mean, look at fucking Aelin. She was an assassin that killed people left and right. Like, not great.
I just don't want the Hind to overshadow Lydia in her future.
And I'm glad. I hope you care about this more than Colin.
Cares for Colin. But you know who I have no fucking cares for? Danica.
You're gonna get hate for this, and I'm excited.
You know what? I decided to fucking drive the Danica hate train. Drive because it's a car.
Remember how I got hated on for this situation on the interwebs? Didn't go well for me, so let's go.
Danica and the fucking Hind knew each other. Like, that's crazy to me. Danica kept so fucking much from Bryce. Like, that is a really crazy one to keep. Like, obviously, she had to keep big secrets, whatever. And I know Bryce had to grow a lot, but imagine, like, what they could have actually done together. Danica sucks. She was a bloodhound, so she scented Lydia out and was hunting for this shit, but she kept too many secrets. The only way I will forgive Danica is if we get a point of view novella from her and the fucking crazy pre-strings that this dumb bitch pulled, because they have like, obviously they're worth it, but they better have been a good fucking reason to protect Bryce.
I think it just shows, honestly, yeah, Bryce had growing to do. She had to obviously grow up, but it doesn't show much faith in your best friend.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And Danica was doing the drugs with her.
Yeah. Like, you're not better than her.
What if the next book starts from Danica's point of view? And that's why SJM was like so surprised on who she was writing from.
That would be crazy. You are taking big fucking swings, girlfriend.
Not one of these am I truly married to, but like, let's just throw it.
I love that you have to point that out because you hate being wrong, that you want.
I'm not married to them. Like the way, like, let's Shield of Sparrows, for example. I'm fucking married to Elfalter. Like, that is something that I like committed to. Like the witches being oracles, I'm committed to that shit too. I'm married to that weird ass theory.
It doesn't feel weird to me. It just feels like lore.
Thottam King would have married him too.
That's a different one.
I would have married him. I would have been Miss Queen Thottam.
Hello, Queen Thottam, at your service.
Do you think that's how Orithis is going to introduce herself? Queen Orithis, now that I'm free.
Yep.
That's how they're going to be, prim and proper.
Mm-hmm.
She has an accent. Now I'm picturing Orithis as Princess Diana. But she's not dead, obviously. Like,
no,
like,
you just think like little fire sprite really loves a biker short and a crew neck.
Yeah, and she's gonna be like so loved by the people.
The people's princess,
yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm picturing Orithis. And I really do I love her relationship with Lydia. I think it's cute. I sense the fire in you the moment we met. I didn't think yours would manifest so brilliantly. I just want to be clear that I did sob like the last 20 chapters. This part really triggered me. I don't know why.
Well, the fire sprites really like to get us at the end of books. What the fuck? I like book one rereading. I fucking sobbed with poor Lily. So I can see this. It just, and it's probably a compound thing because you're like, this Lily, what could have been?
This could have been like Lily and Bryce, but we get Orithis and Lydia, and that's like an okay version I'll accept.
I just have so many questions about sprites. I did already encourage to look up the lore of sprites, and there's a lot to talk about there. But I was thinking, what if sprites came from Mala?
I'm into it. Probably did.
And then you put in the relationship with Mala and that line, and then her feeling it through lids. I like a stretch, but I'm doing it.
I got another big swing to take.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
Okay. Lydia and Rune. So Lydia says, I fell in love with you in the depths of my soul, and it's my soul that will find yours again in the next life. Like, what if she was Aelin reincarnated? Like, making Rowan opposite hair, opposite life. Going with big swings.
Reincarnation happens in these stories. That's an option.
You're like, I don't think this is it.
But it happens.
What if,
You've never taken so many swings in your life. In one chapter.
I was
Just
like,
going
I
for
set
it.
up 30 T-ball stands and I'm taking these tiny swings.
I love it. Do more. I don't know. Like, I don't think this is the case, but I think it brings up the question about reincarnation. And, there's some people there. Who knows? It could be Liz and Aelin.
There's so much emphasis about like finding you in another life, or I'll always find you across the universe. Why the fuck not?
Oh my God. You might be onto something. Not really, but we're going to go with it. Rowan punches Aelin in the face. Rune shoots Lids. Same energy.
I rest my fucking case. Thank you.
I'm the one who said that.
I like it. Thank you.
It's the same energy, though.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Shout out to Rune. He got healing powers. Like, where do you think he got those?
Rowan.
Rowan could heal a little. Maybe that's where Rune got him. Because he's Rowan reincarnated. I'm like more invested in cares for Colin than this theory.
We just keep going with it. That's the problem. We could keep adding.
Cares for Colin.
Cares for Colin.
Okay, but on a serious note, I do want to talk about the Asteri language. Rigelus says, the language inked on your back, it's our language from our homeworld. I can teach you how to wield it. Any world may be open to you, Bryce Quinlan. Name the world, and it shall be yours. That wield word is a little silly. But at first, we're thinking about languages, and I went and compared the language of the Asteri to how Bryce saw the language at the astronomers to see if he and the Asteri were from the same world, because why not? That's how our brains work. So Bryce was at the Mystics in chapter 38 of House of Sky and Breath and says that there was a panel built into the floor in a language she had never seen. And I originally said maybe it's Valg, but Asteri, whatever, but I don't think so. I think the astronomer is something completely different. Unclear on what, though. If it matched the world of the Asteri, Bryce would have recognized it from the tattoo on her back, because she has a whole ass saying, so something would have registered.
Yeah, I think that's different.
So, once again, astronomer, what are you?
I like thinking he's Koshe because it's fun.
Yeah, because he's from somewhere fucking else for sure, or he knows a guy that knows the language.
I mean, they said that, right? The Underking knew him from a different name, so he's obviously someone else. And then they're like, don't let his old feeble astronomer vibe. He's a sorcerer. So I'm going with Koshe. That's my
Oh my
final
God, what if he's actually a male Kraken witch?
No, I don't know. Witch, sorcery, kind of feels the same. Tomato. The only one.
Maybe we'll figure it out in our ACOTAR deep dive. I hope so.
Yeah, I can keep going, but let's go.
Let's talk about the tattoo being from the Asteri homeworld, though. So in chapter 1 of House of Flame and Shadow, when Bryce is being questioned about the tattoo on her back by Amryn and Rhys, we talk about Bryce's tattoo being the same as in the Book of Breathings. Amryn literally says the glowing letters inked on her back, they're the same as those in the Book of Breathings. Now, in chapter 37 of A Court in Mist and Fury, they have this conversation about the Book of Breathings and the language it is written in, where Feyre thought she saw scary-ass Amryn shaking, stick her hands in her pockets and say, it is no language of this world, and then says it is I'm going to butcher this, guys. It is the Lashon HaKodesh, the holy tongue. And then we said, I heard a legend that it was written in a tongue of mighty beings who feared the cauldron's power and made the book to combat it. Mighty beings who were here and then vanish. You are the one who can uncode it. And I originally said if the cauldron Erd word are all one, the ones who fear the cauldron power would be Asteri, Daglin, Valk, right?
We could go a couple different ways with this. That's kind of the problem with it. So, I mean, we've talked about the cauldron before, and we've talked about the powers that Nesta stole from it and how it's giving Deanna, which would mean who? It would be the old gods from Tog. So the question is about this Steri because we know that when they were in their home world, they were fighting, right? We get that, like they started draining the land.
Right.
So are the old gods and the Steri both the same, or like the same ish beings, and they were fighting? So then they maybe won and put all those gods in the cauldron. Like that was their kill switch, that it would kill them as well as good versus evil, light versus dark.
Yeah, because why is there writing all over that? I mean, like Rigelus literally says, teach you how to wield it. Like, why are you wielding a language unless it's word marks?
Wait,
Word marks.
it makes us question chaos, the void, so much more, and the greater meaning behind that, and who's on whose side. I don't know.
I do.
It's hard.
I do think 100% the Asteri's language is word marks, but that leaves the question: are they gods or did they take over the gods? Because I've mentioned that before. Like, what if they were the gods and the Daglin Asteri took over them? Like, what if?
How does Sarah describe Amryn in that? Because we talked about in the beginning that we think that Amryn was the Steri's pet,
Right.
right? Like
Initially in the OG Frost of Starlight, she references her as a biblical angel.
biblical angel. Okay, so we know in the Bible that like some of them go bad, right? I mean, there's some whole fucking Bible in it. What if these gods of Steri truly went bad? And why is she so scared of them? Why is Amryn so scared?
I still have a lot of questions about Amryn because, like, what if Amryn really is playing the long game against Reese's bloodline because they put her family in there, or his family put her in there? That you know what? I'm like, that's a theory. I don't know if I'm married to it yet, but like, what if Amryn's playing the long game?
Remember how pissed we all were at the end of ACOTAR, thinking that she did turn on them and then she didn't really?
Oh my gosh, what if we're like zoned in on more being bad? What if it's Amryn that's the turner?
Well, Amryn and Moore have an interesting relationship. Remember they fight all the time. Why?
What if
Is it the
what if Moore's like an Azrael situation? She's like watching over Amryn or try to like think steps ahead. I don't think that. I question more so. But
I think Moore is more manipulative and vindictive a little bit. I think Amryn may just be hiding her past. Doesn't want to talk about it because it's rude to ask, right? It's another example of what were you before? It's too rude to ask. And same thing, Fury. Weird.
that it's all this like you mentioned earlier, like forgotten history, but is it forgotten? Like nameless is my price, or is it intentionally written out?
Which Celine says that she tries the propaganda and trying to make sure people don't remember things. So it's one of those things. The problem when you know too much, you can argue any point.
Absolutely.
And that's what I do.
Totally devil's advocate nonstop throughout this. Like, what if?
Well, because it could be she could take it a lot of different ways. But that, once again, Holy Star, the Steri are gods. Divine, holy power. They even, the Princes of Hell say something about them being divine. They're gods.
They're gods now, but were they always? Is the question, I guess.
Yeah.
Because, like, why? God, if they're the word of the universe, like, if they're fate word, or like, that sucks. They're not cool. But then, if they are, then where the fuck, like, where do Valg play in all of this? Because
I know, that's why it's light versus dark, I think. Who's good, who's bad? Choice. Not all Valg were bad either. That's probably could be for the Steri. Not all Asteri are bad.
Princess of Hell, not all of them are bad. Look at Ace.
Fucking love Adis. Even though he's blonde. I kind of have a soft spot for Apollyon too, and I don't really know why.
You love those Hellboys.
Thanatos could die and I'd be fine.
Danny, he's been reserved this whole time anyway, so we're unclear on him. That's fair.
I think Fanny's playing the fucking long game and wants to kill people.
Probably.
I really do.
Soul swallower.
Chapter 97. The Asterius palace was collapsing. Theri and Rune and the twins could feel it, and they Forrest Gumped the fuck out of there before the magical whirlpool sucked them. That's what she said into. See? Don't worry, I said it. Bryce had left Hunt, and rather than try and follow her, he chose to try and save Ithan because he knows Bryce would never forgive him if he made any other decision. So he launched them into the air and landed on the edge of a crater. The crater was a gaping void with stars beyond it, and Hunt ordered Ithan to skedaddle and get as many people as he could out of the way. Bryce had opened a black hole in the middle of Midgard, and Hunt could see the Steri and Bryce being sucked into the portal to nowhere. I really have to stop saying sucked. Bryce gambled and seemed to have won by creating this black hole with the Truth Teller and Star Sword, minus the fact that she was now heading towards her death as well. One by one, the Steri crossed the line of no return, and time slowed as they were 86. Rige kicked one of his fellow Steri, and it propelled him right into Bryce, but the horn seemed to protect her. She grabbed his torso and wrapped her arms, then her legs around him to make sure he went into the black hole. Great.
This is why we condense the back half of this book. It is just so much action. There can only deep dive a hole so much. Chapter 98. Hunt watched Bryce go bye into that hole that was sucking in everything. Adis was disappointed in her since he told her to choose life. Bryce left the option open in case she could make it back, hence the black hole. So Hunt took the mask Bryce left him with the mech suit holding his former lover and hopped into space after his mate. He put the mask on and into the hole Hunt went. That's what she said. The suit didn't have too much in it, but Hunt fired a brimstone missile and Shahara attached herself to it and guided Rigelus away from Bryce into the black hole. Hunt was able to grab Bryce and use what was left in the suit to launch them home through that hole that was closing. The Hellbros kept the hole open for them. If I have to say hole one more time.
I was like, you guys start drinking every time you say hole. Good Lord.
But it was also Rune, Lydia, and everyone. They love all as possible. And by golly, they were going to keep that portal open because they love Fast and the Furious and they were family for fuck's sake. When they came through the hole, he had to stop ignoring that Bryce was 86 from life. Their family for fuck's sake.
Your family for fuck's sake.
I don't know who I was when I wrote this.
So much hole.
You know, I want to talk about the men of Crescent City, which is your favorite topic. Rune defended Lydia's children. He offered himself up in their place. But Hunt went to a portal to nowhere for Bryce and retrieved her. And like, this is what makes them top tier men for me personally. I don't know who I would pick over who in this scenario. I go back and forth based on my mood and like whatever phase I'm in. But like, this makes them top tier men for me. Like as a mother, like Rune giving himself up. I mean, he did shoot her. That's a pretty big deal.
Yes,
he did a two-for deal. Like, I'm going to offer myself up for two.
I'm a Hunt gal, if I'm going to pick between the two, for sexual reasons.
Sexual prowess for you, yeah.
Yeah. Picking a Hunt. I think the difference with these men in Crescent City, Hunt got a lot of shit in the beginning because he was making poor choices.
Right.
Like, his poor choice this time was book one. He's grown a lot. Like we've seen growth. Growth in a man is difficult. We know this, ladies. So I think I appreciate him the most. Rune's grown a lot too, but he did shoot her.
Hunt was new to love. And so he was fucking up left and right, and we watched his growth. And now Rune is new to love, and we're watching him fuck up. I mean, okay, think about it. Hunt did. There was like the whole drug situation and buying synth and like kind of replotting the Fallen situation times two.
Yeah, I got it though a little bit more, I think. You want to know what it is? It's we have a shooting in one book, and then we also have how he treated her when they were being tortured. And it wasn't even just how he's treating her, but like he wasn't fully thinking, like, your friends are dying, help them.
Yeah.
Try to get help. So Rune's a hottie, great brother, have some issues.
There's hope though. Like if Hunt can grow, Hunt or Rune definitely can too. I just once again new to love. He's got to figure that out. Like you don't shoot your mate.
Yeah, because Rune hasn't been trained by a woman yet.
No. Look at
He's
how
not
well Hunt's doing after being trained.
Yeah, like Hunt's housebroken now. Rune is not.
There's the difference. Maybe once like Lydia burns him a little bit and like keeps him in line.
Yeah, and like maybe that's what we got to look at with Theory and Ethy Boy.
Rune's gonna get a fire under his ass, and then Ethan's gonna grow the fuck up.
Yeah. I mean, Ethan's prime. He's got to fucking figure it out, and I'm not interested in the struggle. Figure it out.
I wonder what's in store for Therian. Like he's got some BDE, but like mermaid form, and I'm just like wondering like what's that's gonna come into play. Like he has sexual prowess. Like he is so good at flirting with everyone. What are you gonna do? Maybe he's gonna turn tricks.
Why? Why that went?
You know, because that big dick energy, he knows sex, and he's gonna just have all the hoes. He's the new Vibe Queen.
I know. It just in one chapter you said whole 10 times. You're now saying that
Sexual prowess.
Sexual prowess. Just,
it is a hot and heavy episode.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. We talk about it a little bit later, though, of what could happen with House of Many Waters.
I have high hopes for. I don't think he's actually going to turn tricks. That's not a theory I'm married to. I just want to say.
Thank God you made that clear.
No big swing on that one, but just, I wanted to be the one to throw it out just in case. And then, I will take credit if it works.
Okay, fair. I just want to point out, I feel like you having cares for Colin is directly against our Pretty Woman of the Sea. Okay?
Okay, but they don't. Why choose? Maybe they're a happy throuple. Okay, once upon a time, there was a show on Peacock, and it was called From Couple to Throuple, and I think that this could be it. It only had one season. It was awful, but top-tier trash.
Do you think Lily would have loved it?
Yes, I do. Okay. And I think Therian would probably be on it, because he's like, why not? He would be the third, trying to go into a couple, though. I highly recommend everyone watch that.
If you come to us for book recs, no. But you want to know what? She's got some good reality TV for you. Couple to Throuple. So good, it only lasted one season.
It was too good. I was like, oh, where are they now? Actually, I did look it up, and they all broke up.
Shocking.
It's never an episode if I don't bring up witches. So I'm going to bring up Princes of Hell, Valg, and witches. Okay. It says, 8 is flared with black light pushing back against the ceiling portal against Urd's wishes. The only other time we have seen black light was when a witch performed the yielding. In chapter 47 of Kingdom of Ash, this was not the one that makes us all cry, by the way, but the one that has the intention behind it that was associated with the Valg and was aligned with taking everyone out. I mentioned when the 13 performed the yielding, they glowed with white light. It was specifically Astrid in chapter 89 of Kingdom of Ash. It was not darkness, but light. Light bright and pure as the sun on snow that erupted from Astrid. Light as Astrid made the yielding. The rest of the 13 had black light. This, again, makes me think the Princes of Hell are Valg from that black light alone.
Yeah, I mean, just another clue that we just keep finding. So good pointing out.
Just
For
black
sure.
light. And I'm like, let's Google it. By Google it, I mean search my Kindle.
Yeah. And I feel like, once again, black light, Erd's against Erd's wishes. It kind of makes you think a little bit there with good versus evil, void versus. Yeah, with the light. I have questions.
The fact that
That
yielding has
will not be
2 different color lights is crazy.
Chapter 99. Hunt was trying his bestest to revive Bryce. He tried willing the mask, no dice. He tried lightning, no dice. He tried begging the Princess of Hell, no dice. And then when sweet little Hypaxia Endor with the bone crown of the House of Flame and Shadow showed up saying she might be able to help, she was proposing a trade. In walks the Jessica Roga. With tears in her eyes, she says she's willing to trade her life, and I quote, my long, wicked life, because Apollyon cursed her with immortality. She's gifting it freely to Bryce if she wants it. She tells Hunt she's at peace thanks to them both, and tells Hypaxia to lead the house back to light. The light once again. And when Bryce woke up, she was in place of soft golden light. And Jespa was there telling her where the exit was. Jespa told her, yeah, they're both deader than a doornail, but she doesn't have to be. She traded her life so she could go back. Bryce was hella confused, and Jespa gave her the cliff notes of her lore and told her she needs to protect, cherish, and share with the world the books of Parthos. She needs to go be with the angel, and they will all be waiting for her when the time comes. Up on a grassy hill were 7 figures, a blonde one yelling, light it up. And our favorite fire sprite. Jespa tells Bryce to live her life and live it well. They hugged it out, and then she walked back towards the archway, towards life, towards Hunt. Aw.
Beautiful. It's not even the end.
I still have a few chapters, but in Kingdom of Ash, when the portal opens for the gods to go back to their home world, it is described the portal to their realm, a rolling green country that nearly blinded her. Their green, sun-drenched world, the grassy hills, it feels like a little like this happened, like Afterworld that Bryce is in. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then Vesper says she lived in a land that was very green as well. Are Asteri the same as the Tog gods? I keep on thinking, yeah.
That's where Jess was heading. Home with the gods.
I feel like it is.
I think it's interesting that Jessica can just like hand over her life like that. I find that fascinating because Jessica is like one of a kind, essentially. Why nobody else can fucking do that?
And just, I don't know. There's a lot about Jessica, even though she was like, that was her curse from Apollyon. Like the fact that they're in this new world, her and Bryce, and she says it's a gold light. What is Jessica's light? Gold?
Yeah, that's
Like,
not our typical shimmering light or white light or glow. That is gold.
and then like with the bone or the Underking saying, I don't know her by that name. I still don't think she's meaning like her priestess name. I think this is a reincarnation situation. I don't know exactly who it is, but I do believe that.
Who is Jessica Roga really? Going back to what her name means, the horn. She's a traveler. She's a world walker.
I don't think that's that crazy.
It's not. I mean, like, what if she was banished there? She was a god, and that's where she got banished. So she just played priestess for 15,000 years. Priestess, tried out witch, tried out sorceress, tried it all.
What if she's Meryl?
That'd be crazy.
Right?
I have to bring up witches yet again, because what I said in the last chapter, Jessica said, lead the house of flame and shadow back to light. It really is giving attentions, like you said, the way that they worship the mother matters.
Dark first light. And it brings back to talk how some of the witches' clans were all about when darkness claims us and really leaned into the darkness and kind of wickedness in them. But then there was another witch clan, the Cochrans, who didn't seem to relish in the evil. They knew that there was another way. And like Kylie just mentioned, when the 13 performed the yielding, they were light, not dark.
I think that this is going to tie in with like the witches. Well, it is. It is. There's just so much emphasis on fucking witches, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm not sorry. I won't stop.
No, there is. And I think this is for sure. I think like witches are not talked about really in ACOTAR, and they're about to be.
Yes, I agree. It's like there's all the mentions. Like there's tiptoes around it, but not like.
Yeah, there's definitely Easter eggs, but it's not the emphasis that the other two series have, and there's going to be.
Yes, I agree.
Definitely.
Chapter 100. Bryce was alive and making awkward jokes. There was a lot to do now that the Asteri were dead. Hunt dismissed the fallen and gave thanks. He told Isaiah he was HBIC of the Angels now, and they needed to get to Nenya ASAP, despite rebuilding a whole new world. Bryce loves an entrance, truly, because she pops in and the first thing she says is the Asteri are gone. No hello. Hunt joined Bryce and Prithian while Bryce gave Truth Teller and the mask back. Bryce told Nesta that she won't be back, but I think the truth detector would determine that that is a lie because Nesta with the list, Nesta really bonded with Ember, and Ember said her time with Nesta was a gift. And then Cassian threw out maybe they'll meet again in different circumstances. Nesta and Ember were sad to leave each other. I think that they are bonded for life. Then, before Bryce left, she gave Nesta the star sword and said that the 8-pointed star was tattooed on her for a reason and to take the sword and figure out why. Because of that bonus chapter, I fucking love Nesta and Ember's relationship. I want more of these characters together, like inject it into my fucking veins.
I think we're going to get it.
I love Nesta.
And I think with this chapter, we're given what will be a major ass storyline in the ACOTAR series. What having the Star Sword for Nesta means. Do you think she's going to rule the Dusk Court?
Interesting. Nesta doesn't want to be a ruler.
No, she doesn't.
I don't.
But what does that mean? That means somebody else is going to try to. Because we know that island popped up stuff. People are going to be looking. But that's a storyline for sure. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but it's a fucking storyline.
Or like Reese will like want to fight for it and then give it to Nesta like it's yours, you deserve it.
He's like, you got this
champ,
sister. It is interesting in this chapter though because like it's so funny hearing something from like Nesta's point of view when we get the first view of like an ACOTAR Feyre where she sees Reese in this different light, but she has such a negative look towards Reese. And right now she's been in the doghouse, so she's not going to be a big fan anyways. And I get that. But her being like, Reese is going to explode. Like, you have to deal with him. And Ember's like, nah, he's going to be fine. Like, there's definitely bias there that I think because people love Nesta so much, as they should, excellent character, Reese gets unnecessary hate. I'm not saying that he's perfect. He's not. He's morally fucking gray. But it's like, it's okay. You can love both characters. They're both fucking morally gray.
If you can give Nesta grace, you can give Reese grace.
Yeah. And they both just want to protect the ones that they love.
Yeah. And they just go about it different ways. And, sometimes they butt heads and that's okay.
Also, Reese has been doing this for 500 years. Nessa's just brand new.
Newly made.
I am excited. As much as like I actually, let me preface, I am not a hard Nesta stan. Everyone kind of knows that. But I really love her as a character. So I'm excited to go on this ACOTAR journey to kind of fall in love with her and see her in a different light. Because I actually think the bonus chapters and the chapters in Crescent City, if you read them and then go into ACOTAR, you see her so differently.
Big Nesta stan. I love her. Her growth is just, it's incredible. Like, I went into Crescent City not like loving the characters or the story, but now I'm like really invested and fucking love them. And maybe that'll happen to you this time with Nesta.
For me, like, I hope so.
Maybe you'll love Elaine.
No. I'm not going to love Elaine. I hope that by the end of books 6 and 7, I do. Don't right now. We don't know anything about her. So it's hard to say. Oh, I hope she turns out to be a fucking badass, and me calling her boring for a few years, I have to eat crow. But
Who's to say?
who's to say? Chapter 101. Lydia was able to say goodbye to her sons, and let's just say this goodbye went a hell of a lot better than the last time. So much so that Bran even called her mom, and Ace was semi-nice. Liz had some work to do, but luckily her work no longer involved the Ocean Queen. She sent a resignation note, and the OQ accepted because she had other, more important things to tend to.
When the OQ accepts Lydia's resignation, she says, I have bigger issues to consider than your loyalty, Lydia Servos. I accept your resignation, but do not fool yourself into thinking that this last time we shall cross paths. For now, you may live your life above. Is this foreshadowing for House of Many Waters?
I think it's possible. I think that she set it up this way so that it could, for sure, because sometimes Sarah, she has it mapped out, but you never know. But what is going on that's so pressing for the OQ right now? Now, we know that she went to the Eternal City and all that, but the thing that usually separates worlds from each other is, in fact, oceans. So what's getting through that Melano rift?
Vic broke out. Hear me out. And she is terrorizing the fucking rift. She broke out of that box, is absolutely insane, crazier than Amarantha. And she took over a mare's body, and now she's fighting everyone. And she's just growing in power because she learned how to travel through the rift, and she is now a world walker. And she is the next big threat of House of Many Waters. Crazy Vic.
Let me add to this. So then, Vic, the superpowers going crazy. Then she feels the bond, the mating bond. Her mate, Colin.
This is not where I thought it was going at all, but sign me the fuck up. Cares for Colin.
We'll be here all day. Another goodbye was happening at the Rift. Apollyon let Hunt know that hell has no hold on him, and he has no obligation to them. And Bryce thanked Apollyon for not giving up on Midgard, and he told her, thank G, now my brother will be at peace. Speaking of Adis, who I believe is very much related, but I digress. Adie Baby told Bryce Thea would be proud of her, and Bryce told him that he thinks he will see her one day. And she told him that any good male, regardless of where he is from, should be allowed in. They said, sayonara, waved goodbye, and then she shut the rift. Does the way Apollyon speak not remind you of how Erewhon referred to his brothers? I do stand pretty strongly that I believe it's possible that Orcus could be Apollyon. It's crazy, but I think it's possible.
You know how I feel about those brothers are still out there. So I totally, I'm on board with this. They're out there somewhere, and we will see them again because, why? That is a crazy, oh my God, what if one of them's actually a mate to Vic? And, then the Val and Vic, that storyline resolved.
But then Colin comes in and he really tries to get her.
It is a why choose story.
Yeah.
And
couple the thruple.
When Colin coupled the thruple, I'm into it. Would we call Colin, and would it Corcus?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, on that note.
I'm sorry, Bryce and Adis are definitely related, and you can't convince me otherwise. I'm not going to leave any space for you to talk and keep going in. I'm go. Therian had business to take care of, aka check on his wife at the meat market. That's what she said. So he didn't accept the offer to be a commander on the depth charger. As he turned the corner, guess who was chilling in the alley? Ari, our favorite little Lenathian dragon. Why did the astronomer care to have a dragon? We know their fire can allegedly kill the Princess of Hell. Why? What? And who is he? Reminder, the Underking was like, I don't know him by that name. And he said he's said to be a sorcerer. I really do think he could be Cochet, because think about it. He had that, what's her name? The fire bird person? What's her name? That he has strapped to the lake.
Vasa.
Yeah.
Yeah. That.
Nice things. Maybe he thinks Vasa could kill a Prince of Hell.
Maybe. Because, like, I wonder where firebirds in relation to thunderbirds happen. Like, obviously they were created, but like, where did this firebird come from?
Mala, probably, next to her fire sprites.
Trying to combat the Valg.
Yeah, you know how it is. Typical Valg stuff.
Dragons in this universe really fuck me up, truly, because once again, they're on the handles for the fucking library in Rifthold, and then it's what Amaranthus fucking sigil?
Yeah,
Yeah. So, like, where are these dragons? Why is Ariadne the only dragon we've met?
there are more, and we will find them.
It's giving Pegasus. We'll find them in the House of Many Waters.
I definitely talk about Pegasus, but I try not to in this. I'm like, don't talk about him. Don't say anything. Are you ready for this guy? Are you?
Chapter 102, the final chapter of Crescent City currently.
Hmm.
Queen of the Valbaran Fae, Bryce Quinlan, made her only royal decree that the royal houses have ended. The Fae monarchy? Jesus Christ. The Fae monarchy has ended forever. Her hot dad's residences will go to those displaced by the attack on Asphodel Metals. Also, no more kingdoms. A government for the Fae for fairness going forward. Love F's. Holy shit. The nobles were pissed. Sucks to suck. Now peasants. Rune and Lydia moved in a few floors below Bryce with some space for her kids too. They had some beers to celebrate a normal life as just them. And then since Bryce was gifted Griffin Antiquities, she had to find a new home for it, which she did. Hunt's lightning was being used for antidotes, as if they weren't powerful enough. They took the antidotes, and a whole new island rose in a Avalon tied to Bryce's soul. Bryce could teleport, aka Winnow, even better than our Prithian pals. She could go all the way to Mom's with Hunt whenever she wanted.
So there's a couple things. Yes, we know that she's slated to write another Crescent City book. I don't think it's our last time for us to see them. For sure, they're going to be an act sharp, but the way that they end this is very similar to how they end Tog. The government, how they're restructuring things. I don't know how she's going to do it. Like, I don't know.
Well, think about a court of Wings and Ruin. Like, they have to restructure as well, but the story kept moving.
Yeah, I think it's just like the more how they want to do it. It just has this certain vibe to it because these guys kind of seem like they're still together, but I feel like could be going separate ways in some way. I think we're definitely getting another Crescent City and everything, but I'm just like, it feels a little bit like the end of the Kingdom of Ash.
I wonder if we'll get, because it's going to be a long time before we see the next Crescent City. So I wonder if she'll give us a novella, just kind of like a Court of Frost and Starlight. If we get a novella and then the next book, something to like feed us and transition us into like where she's going to move the story, but it's so low on her list.
Especially if they're heavily in the ACOTAR series, like then even like the last book or something, like it would be a bridge in with a novella. But I can't wait to see what the prison looks like over in Prithian when we get back.
I know. I'm so excited.
Because I think it's going to help our theories.
I love that, like, during this whole time, Jessica was packing up right in front of us. She was having Ithan do everything right in front of us for Bryce. That fucking sneaky dog.
I just love that Jessica assigned Ithan with work that he would be good at. Bitch work.
Truly.
I had to make fun of him once before we're done, you know?
Yeah, it's going to be a while before we make fun of Ithan again.
Yeah.
Bryce and Hunt still had a ton to figure out for the new world, including who can run a Velen so we can get Baxi Boy back to civilization. Bryce and Hunt were about to fuck when Baxi Boy called, saying there were Pegasus, dozens of them, and he needed help. And then our story ends with life was out there, so Bryce and Hunt run out to live it together.
I'm not going to talk about the Pegasus. I'm not going to talk about the Pegasus. I'm not going to talk about the Pegasus. I'll see you in ACOTAR. I'm not going to talk about it.
With that being said, 5-star book. I love it so much. Like, I know it's not for everyone, but once you read it a second time, I connected way better this time. It was fun. I can't wait for book 4.
I really do feel like deep diving helps appreciate her book so much more, especially if you're because we kind of always are reading ACOTAR or TOG while deep diving this. You catch things like it is. It's a masterpiece. It is. I know some people really don't like this book.
And like that, I get it. I 100% actually truly do get it because I didn't
Yeah.
get it the first round. But once again, read. Sometimes you do have to read certain books twice, and this is truly one of them. And if you haven't read Throne of Glass, you have to read it after you've read Throne of Glass and ACOTAR. Like there's just so many
For a second time.
Yeah.
You can't just do it once. Like it's you have to read ACOTAR in Front of Glass for a second time and then go into Crescent City for your second time.
Right.
Or third.
It's not goodbye. It's see you later. So now it's time for so long.
Oh. Thanks for giggling through Crescent City with us for the past 9 months. Fuck, that's a long time. That's a school. That's a school year. Join us for our ACOTAR Girly Summer as we deep dive each ACOTAR book leading up to ACOTAR 6 this fall. We are ACOTAR Maxing, and you can find the link with all the details in the description below.
Make sure you hit that follow button wherever you listen and head over to our social media for all of our latest updates, theories, and more new book goofing. All links are in info, you giggling gal pals. We will see you at ACOTAR. At ACOTAR, we'll see you in ACOTAR.
Thin for a thin.
Bing, bing, bang.
Bing, bing, bang!